Okay. Um, we'll be able to see activity, Carney, or like any like who's here and whatnot.
No, what we'll see is in the comment, people can, if you're here and you're hearing us, you can leave a comment below in the Facebook comment section and just let us know
Okay.
the video is doing what it's supposed to.
Okay. So we just go ahead.
We're live.
Yeah, it's live because I'm looking on my
All
phone.
right. Okay. Well, we're here. We're live. So it's great to be here. I want to welcome anyone who is watching right now from wherever you are. I imagine maybe many of you are in Florida or probably all over the United States, and definitely honored to take some time having a discussion about how to get more clients and grow your business. This is it's something that we all bring something unique to the table, and it's definitely I want to have fun with this. It's not stuffy. We're gonna kind of go over some tips and some tactics that we know from our experience that are effective for business owners. And then we're going to open up for some questions and answers. And so if there's things that you're struggling with, things that you're like, what about this, or I've tried this, let's this is a conversation, and so we'll have 15-20 minutes towards the end where we'll really focus on questions that you might have. So I want to start off since I can't quite see you. Well, first of all, formally, I want to welcome you to this webinar. I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. I don't want to take that for granted. And let me just introduce who you're looking at, so you know who's on screen here. My name is Veron Graham, and well, can you guys hear me? Am I doing all right?
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I need to get into church more. I need call and response. Just what I mean, raise a holy hand, something. Let me know you're here with me. All right. So, my name is Veron Graham, and I am a co-founder of a company called Gurus.co, and we are a website and marketing support agency. I have my wonderful sister on this webinar as well, Carlene. I'll let her talk a bit, and she's also a co-founder of the company. And we've had the privilege of working closely over the past few months with Nashika Harper, and I'll pass it over to her in a moment. So we've really, and I'll speak for myself as a man, I've really gotten through Nashika and some other clients, gotten a front row seat in what's happening in the natural hair movement. And my experience, I come from a background, even before starting this website and marketing support agency, I come from a background of software where I have a brother and a few others on the team created a software that allowed solo entrepreneurs like yourself or small business owners an easy way to create a website themselves. And not only just a website, but a marketing funnel, which is just a process that allows you to easily create a web presence that your clients can see when they come to you. So what I learned from working in that software marketing business for 3 years was how tricky it can be for a small business owner to figure out all this marketing stuff, how to get leads and all of that, and then also how to create an online presence and to do it affordably and simply. And through that process, we launched a software, and we have another software we just launched last year, and it's done very well. But my sister and I, we started to look at the personal relationships that we're missing. I mean, software is cool, and a lot of folks like to do things themselves, but we wanted to create an agency where we worked more personally with small business owners that we felt were doing cool and interesting projects in the world. So that's just a little background of my experiences, almost 10 years working online with websites, software, and then now marketing as well. So what's interesting is how that applies to the natural hair business space. And so the relationship that we've had with Nashika has been really eye-opening, where she's really showed us what really works specifically for this niche. And she has a wealth of experience. I mean, she's been braiding hair since she was 10. You know, I don't want to steal all her thunder, but I just have to brag on her because she's very understated. Like braiding hair since she was 10. Professionally had her own clients for over 10 years, I believe. And now she trains hair braiders and stylists how to not only improve the techniques of their practice, of their businesses, of your businesses, but also how to go pro, how to become professional by getting licensed, you know, and then also how to make more money, right? Get more clients and actually build a business. Just because you're licensed and you doesn't mean that you're necessarily making the income you want. So I'm really excited about this conversation because she brings that inside knowledge of the space of hair braiding, married with what we've been helping her with and her knowledge of the space. We feel like we could also offer some insight in terms of general marketing. So we hope this is beneficial to you. I want to pass it over to, now that I've talked forever and you know the sound of my voice. Well, first, the other half of Gurus, let me pass it over to Carlene for a bit, and then we can hear from the lovely Nashika.
Well, I'm the other half of Gurus that's present. There's actually three of us.
True.
I'm Carlene. I am Brown's little sister, as he already said everything I was going to say, really. But yeah, we really enjoy working with clients who are making some type of impact, and we like working with Nashika because even though you might think, oh, it's just styling hair, it's actually more than that. And how do I put it in a nutshell? The ability for people to make money out of tools that are so tied to African American culture, the African diaspora culture, like that is not insignificant. I think that being on the cultural rise, like being able to represent yourself with your natural hair, and even if it's not your natural hair, and just the styles that are part of heritage, I think adds a lot to self-esteem and self-worth and what that can give. So this has really been an exciting project, and also because Nashika's understated, I'll toot her horn since she won't do it for herself. But I also really enjoy working with her because she's advocating for legally for it to be a little easier for a lot of hair braiders to be able to work, because it shouldn't be so restrictive. But anyway, I think that we have a lot of information. We want to help people who are doing the thing to do it better, to get more money, to build your family, your community, your work up, and mastering the internet and your business online is really, really, really pivotal to standing out and making money, getting clients. And now,
toss the mic. Pass the mic over to Nashika. Toss it over.
I caught it.
Caught it. All right.
Well, hi everyone. I'm not sure if everyone on this webinar knows me personally, but my name is Nashika Harper. I am the owner of BraidLicense.com. I've been braiding hair since I was in the womb, since I was 10 years old. And then at 18, I just decided to do it professionally, and then I got licensed in 2006. So ever since then, I've been making pretty good money. I haven't had a full-time job since 2008. So I mean, you can make a lot of money in this business. What else y'all want me to say?
No,
Y'all
that I
know
mean
this is
that.
my first webinar.
No, that's fine. I mean, I think my guess is that most people are somewhat familiar with the work that you do,
Mhm.
um, and I think you said that works for me. I mean, uh, it's let's get into it. I think it's cool that we're all able to have a conversation, and um,
Mhm.
what I like to do now is I would start by I like to paint the picture of I'm a big picture person, right? So we're all small business owners, right? And there's a lot of seems to be sometimes a lot of moving parts to this thing called marketing and getting more clients, getting more customers. So I like to kind of get a cohesive picture of what am I looking at? What do I need to do? Maybe there's some things that your aspects of this marketing process, right, or attraction process that you're already doing well. So um, I like to kind of get into that by first highlighting. I have this quote that I read that I think speaks to how important this conversation really is. Okay, um, so it's from a publication. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Nashika. Black Girl Long Hair.
Oh
Are you
yeah.
familiar?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Ask their readers, when it comes to natural hair, are you do it yourself or do you depend on natural stylists? 47% responded do it yourself.
Wow.
23% try do it yourself methods but are struggling.
Mhm.
25% go to a stylist on occasion, and only 5% said they still use stylists regularly. Now, I don't bring up that to be depressing, but just to highlight that the from my understanding, and maybe you can comment on this too, Nashika, is that in the natural hair movement, there's a lot more people are a lot more women and maybe even some men are interested in natural hair and are doing a lot of it themselves,
Mhm.
which is great. You know, maybe the industry is growing and the amount of people interested in natural hair are growing,
Mhm.
but there's a smaller percentage of them that are actually relying on a professional, which
Mhm.
fits in what you do and what your clients do and those on this call are doing. And the reason I bring those statistics up is just to show that there's a lot of competing forces out there. Not only do you have other hair braiding professionals maybe in your local markets, but you also have a lot of people doing stuff themselves. So um, and the reason I'm bringing this up, it just highlights the importance of being very clear
Mhm.
on what's unique and what separates you from
Absolutely.
all the other options. How do you feel about that, Nashika?
I totally agree because there are hundreds of braiders here in Lakeland, and
Okay.
it's like who specializes in what? Everybody does braids, but what do you really specialize in? And
Mhm.
one of the things that I mentioned to my students is that you need to specialize in something. If you're really good at doing micro braids, specialize in micro braids. If you're really good at doing crochet hair braiding, specialize in that. So I've had a few young ladies, they took the leap and they said, okay, I'm going to do this, and they're doing very well.
Yeah, I think that's an
Great.
important point because when people are searching for styles, especially nowadays, we're looking online, and it would be if I can look and see like, all right, I think I want crochet braids. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I like how they look. I want this style. I'm gonna look and see who does crochet braids in my area since I don't
Hmm.
myself. The other thing I was gonna comment on the quote you read, V. I think
Hmm.
that try DIY methods but are struggling. So these are people who are not in that 5% that go to a stylist regularly, and they're not in the 25% that go occasionally. But they're that 23% that could use some help and just might pay somebody for it if you can present yourself as a really good option. So I'm and on the note of how we in terms of specializing, the importance of it, I think that's a really great segue into this idea of branding and clarity and what's unique and what separates your hair braiding business from other hair braiding businesses. Because you want to be memorable. Like you said, there's hundreds of hair braiders around. What are you going to be known for?
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Am I echoing a little?
Yes.
I don't know why, but
maybe I'll put
okay.
on
I think I'm okay. I'm okay now. No, I mean, so the big picture that I was talking about earlier begins, I think, with the subject of branding. If anyone is, if you got a pen or a paper, I think this would be a good thing to write down as number one, because a lot of people jump to, oh, I need a website, or I'm having a problem with my website, I need to update it, or how do I get people to find me online? Well, wait, slow down. What we're talking about is, listen, it's a noisy world. It's never been noisier in the sense of everybody is promoting something, and this is most relevant in this conversation to the hair braiding space. Like Nashika was saying, it's noisy. There's a lot of options, right? So before you get into how to get more customers or get more clients, or traffic tactics or advertising or getting a great website, how can you cut through the noise by being different, by being unique? And you have to identify what is it about you that is unique, and make that distinction, so that when people think, I think Nashika, you gave an example about micro braids, right? That, and there might even be something unique about micro braids that you specialize in, and then that's your story, and that's what we take and start to figure out, okay, this will help you identify who you want to target, who you want to try to attract, and then it might help you figure out, well, what kind of site, what do I want on the site, so that when they get there, it makes sense. So it all starts with that, and it's something that we've all, Nashika, Carney, and myself, I spent a lot of time talking about, and even working together with in our respective businesses. Is there anything that you want to add there, Carney? Because and I'm sure Nashika has something to say there, but I'm sure there's some things that I know that you are very passionate about that might help folks take some practical steps to identifying what makes me unique.
Right.
And
So I would say, when it comes to what just came to my mind, and I'm actually rebranding my personal brand right now, so I'm kind of geeking out on branding, and I'm actually getting kind of excited about it. Well, more excited than I already was. But I think what's really cool is with a personal brand, because odds are, unless you're running a salon and you have other people that you're hiring in chairs, you're representing yourself. And even if you have a business where you're running a salon with other braiders or other stylists, your business is still an extension of yourself. So I think about, like, when it comes to hair, that's also an extension of style. So if you did, for example, micro braids, then showing examples of how it can be styled. When you're talking about visual branding, like, show people a vision of how this comes together. When you're thinking about it, you can also think about your style. If it's a personal brand that you're building, what kind of clothes do you like? What kind of visuals do you associate with you? Like, how do you want to be seen? And something like wearing bright colors or bold patterns might become part of the brand, or the way that you style the micro braids, or the way that you style the crochet twists. Someone will want to come to you because of your style on top of your technique. And I think that what is really cool about that is you can really take the same techniques and put your own spin on it and really make it interesting. And when you're building that visual brand where you're posting things on social media, you're showing examples of your work, that's one way that you can you can add that individuality to it, or that uniqueness that is what your brand is about.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
Was there? Did you want to chime in, Nashika, or you're just you're giving the
I'm-
amen?
yeah, amen.
And I'll say, I mean, we want to give a really great overview about this process. Start beginning with branding, but folks just realize that a lot of this can get more in depth. I do want to mention though, on the topic of branding and being unique, that not it begins with knowledge of self, right? And that's something that I think maybe a lot of natural hair braiders can relate to in terms of um, what's going on when folks are switching their hair from process to a more natural thing. There's a whole consciousness movement there where you're really becoming in touch with who you are, right, and who we are as a people, and getting in touch with that authentic self. But to kind of piggyback on that principle, um, in branding, once you kind of get in touch with who you are and what's unique about what you're doing personally and in your business, it then helps you identify who you want to connect with.
Mm-hmm.
And before you get into like advertising and using social media and then your website, it really begins there. And there's this concept called an ideal customer avatar, which is just it's a term that I think, and you know, feel free to jump on Google, and there's a lot of training out there on how to construct an ideal customer avatar. But what it is kind of a compilation of the best traits of your customers, and it really helps you understand if I was to ask you, well, we're getting clear on who you are and what's unique about your business, but who are you uniquely serving?
Right.
Right? And I know, feel free to jump in, Nashika and Carlene. I know Carlene
Yeah.
likes to geek out about this practice of honing in on your ICA or your ideal customer avatar.
Yeah, I think when you first of all, like you said, branding is really number one. It's the foundation, and not just because it's this concept, where you get a logo or whatever, but it really is the story. It's everything. When you go to a developer to build your website, or you go to a designer to make images for you, or you go do a photo shoot, it all has to come together. And if you're not clear on what that story is and who you're talking to and who you are in that story, then it kind of becomes a little disjointed. So the more you think about that, the better off you'll be. But I think what's really cool is think about the clients that you have the most fun with, like the styles you like to do the best, the age ranges
Right.
you like to work with. So maybe you know that older clients prefer certain styles, but you really like to do funky styles. You like to mix up cutting in patterns with, I don't know, I'm rambling here, but
Or just kids. Sorry to butt in, Carney, but
yeah,
like you really love working with small children, and that
right.
becomes your part of your brand and what's unique about you, and then you write down your ideal customer avatar as this 8-year-old girl that has parents, da da da, and this girl likes this kinds of braids, and then that represents that story, and you give her a name, make up a name for her, find a picture of her, right? And it's not necessarily a real person. This person represents your audience, who you're going to start speaking to, and you start to kind of, you start to kind of have a relationship with that person in your mind, and you start thinking about, well, what kind of messaging do I need to?
Yeah. What do they want?
You
What do they
know?
want to see? What do I need to tell them to convince them
Yeah,
that I'm the right person to partner with? And I think
exactly.
I used to really struggle when I first entered into entrepreneurship. I used to really struggle with this idea of picking in a niche or a niche or however you want to pronounce it,
Yeah.
picking a little avenue of the market, because I felt like I was going to be missing out on other people who did not match that. But I think what's
Yeah.
really cool, a visualization that helped me with understanding picking your ideal client, is that they're the bullseye on the target. And it doesn't mean that it's a loss if you hit somewhere else on the board. But you know who you really love to spend your time with. You know who you really want to talk to with your brand. You know who you really identify with. But other people will vibe with your creative style or your expression or style, whatever. And they may not be that 8-year-old person that Veron was describing, but they will still really want to work with you. So don't be afraid to specialize. It doesn't mean that's the only thing you do. It just means that's what you love to do and that's what you do well.
And it separates them from the competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are there any examples out there? Anyone that you've come across, Nashika, that you're like, wow, they really specialize really well, and I don't know a lot of people that do what they do.
Oh, wow. There's a young lady on Instagram. Her name on Instagram is Twist by Cass, Cass. But I noticed that she only does the big Senegalese twist, rope twist, American call it. But that's all she does for a living. She doesn't do any braids. She just strictly does twists. And she's making a killing. That's all she does. I actually just and she's busy. She's always busy. So here we have it. If you specialize in something, you're going to make money, you know?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Love it. Yeah, I just became familiar of who you just mentioned because we spoke earlier, and yeah, she is doing quite well on with thousands of followers on Instagram and on Facebook, and we'll get into to those topics too. And a great example of, I mean, it's even in her name. I mean, it's that this is what I want to stress is that is not by accident, you know. Twist by Cass. That name is not by accident. She obviously spent some time thinking about what we're talking about. So I just want to stress, guys, that, and we've all been there where we're like, you start your business and you're like, okay, I'm gonna braid here, or I'm let's say for what we're doing, oh, we're just gonna do websites or design websites or help people with marketing. But no, we had to get more. Really, really tight and ask yourself, well, what do we like? And what we discovered and what I knew about myself is like, man, for me to get up in the morning and help people with their site and marketing, they have to be doing something I think is they got to be doing something positive in the world. And that's how Nashika and I, we kind of came together, I think, in that way, because once we met and I saw what she was doing, she saw what we were doing, and I really liked the space that she was in and respected the standard that she was setting and the success that she was having. So when I see and I can go on about that because I'm very, very passionate about doing things that you love and that are meaningful and that make you excited to get up in the morning. And if that distinguishes you and makes you unique, it's perfect for business, right? So.
To wrap up on that, I would just say as an action item, because I'm a fan of action items, any idea is only as good as its implementation. So I would say if you want to spend some time thinking about your brand, a very easy way to do that, especially because brands tend to display themselves visually, just go on Pinterest, create a board that's just maybe a secret board that's just about what strikes you. I did this and I was so surprised how much clarity I came up with my personal brand. I found patterns that I liked, colors that I liked. I looked through my closet, I looked through old pictures and saw which ones I liked the most, and you really start to see like patterns. Oh, this is how I really want to represent myself, or this is who I really want to work with, and just start compiling that and refining it, and you'll probably come across some clarity about who you are as a stylist and who you want to work with, and it will.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's an exciting process, and you could always go deeper with it. but it feels good when you have that clarity, and you can like, and then you go out and get your business cards or your website, and you know,
Right.
and it all flows from
It
there.
will
Then
come
you know,
together really easily. It will be very easy
yeah,
to be like, yes, I want those colors. Yes, I want that pattern. Yes, I want to look like this website. Yes, I want to wear this in my photo shoot. Versus
right,
like, I don't know, what should I do? What's the competitor doing? Maybe I should do the same thing. You'll be able to know how to stand out because it will be real, and people can
yeah.
smell a fake. So
Oh
Yep.
yes.
make sure, if you sit with it, you'll find what's authentic for you, and it will spill out, and it will make the whole process a lot easier. I think this is kind of a good transition to attraction. How,
Yes.
and when we talk about attraction, we mean, okay, so how do we get people to find you, right? This whole thing is about getting your schedule full of clients. And branding is nice, but if nobody ever sees it, then that was a waste of effort.
Right.
I think what's really cool though is when you have that branding, then it becomes very easy to create the visual material on social media, on your blog, or wherever your business card, and when you're at conferences, whatever. It makes it very easy to put that out there. And when you put, I think, a really clear energy out, and you know who that energy is for, I don't want to get all woo woo, but I think in a very literal sense, you start to connect with the people that vibe with what you're putting out.
Hmm.
So when you're
You're
Hmm.
clear
right.
on that, then you get that back clearly. Like Veron was talking about, once we got clear on what we wanted to do, then all of a sudden we've known Nashika for years, but then it became like, oh, this partnership makes sense because we're speaking the same language. So when it comes to attraction, what does that look like? How do we get people to find you and want to work with you?
Ooh.
And yeah, it's now this is the meat and potatoes, right? Everybody wants
This
to
is
how
where
to.
it's at.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
just before we jump into that, I want to just set the stage with this little idea called the 80-20 rule, right? Um, 80%. We want to focus on the things that really have the biggest impact, the 80% impact of your business. And what we're finding, and I think maybe Nashika and Carney could attest to this as well, and maybe those listening, watching, is that these days most of your people are searching for you online. You know, I mean, they come other there's offline ways, there's word of mouth, there's things in the real world, right? But these days people are going and saying Lakeland, Florida twist,
Hmm.
or
Lakeland, Florida
Tampa.
hair braiding, Lakeland,
Yeah,
Florida hair salon.
yeah, they're punching in the name of your city, what city you're in, and they're punching in that name, Miami, Tampa, and then the hair thing that they're looking for, hair braiding or whatever, like Mashika was saying. So I want to stress that you guys, like, some people are like, they do stuff online. We probably all know that most people are finding solutions and businesses and services on the internet, but I just want to stress that, right? So that's what we want
Hmm.
to focus most of this conversation on. Um, so yeah, attraction. How do we use the internet, right, to attract your ideal customers to what you're doing? Is there anything that I could keep going, but is there anything you wanted to touch on first, Nashika or Carlene? Let me ask you, Nashika. What?
Okay.
There's a lot of ways people are using the internet. What's
Mhm.
one way we can start off this segment that you feel has been really instrumental to attracting clients to your business, and things that you've observed in the clients that you work with, um, as a great way to get people to find you online?
I should sing a song, but I can't
Oh,
sing.
oh, we really about to have church now. What?
You should have warned me. I would have warmed up.
I know, yeah.
Oh
You got,
yes,
hey, you
I
have to do.
Harmonize.
sing. Okay, okay. Oh, I'm so excited because oh gosh, this is what I'm passionate about. Google for the past 5 years consistently. Google is the number one way to get clients. Google, then YouTube, and then came Facebook, and then came Instagram.
Mhm.
But Google is where it's at. Google.
No, it's the 800-pound gorilla in the room, right? I mean,
Really
there's a
though,
lot of
because where
yeah.
are people searching? They're searching on
Google.
Google. Where do you search? You search on Google.
All the time.
Google is the number one search engine. So when people are looking for things, that's where they are. So we want to know, how do we get found there?
And not to get too deep in this, but this is something I also am passionate about talking about, Nashika, is Google is there's a lot of ways to find your business online, right? But the thing about Google that's interesting is that the kind of mindset that someone is in when they're searching for a business
They're
means
ready.
they're ready.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're ready to
When you're
pay.
on right, when you're on Instagram and you're browsing, that's cool. You get some style inspiration, but they may not be clients and they may not even be in your area. But when I'm
Yeah.
looking up South Florida hair braiding, I'm looking for someone to braid my
Good
hair in
looking.
South Florida.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
And that's
Yep.
that. Yeah, that's a hot lead, right? And so that's the thing about Google. So the question is, who do they find when they're, you know,
If you're not on there, they're not finding you.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
So what? Since you mentioned Google, Nashika,
Mhm.
what's one? What, we'll really dig into this. But what's the first thing that you would recommend folks do um, um, to get noticed on Google?
First things first, what we talked about today, Varen, is
Yeah.
Google Business.
Hmm.
In 2010, I think it was Google Local, but Google Business is where it's at.
Okay.
Next step is a YouTube video. I can't stress it enough, but since Google owns YouTube, you need a YouTube video.
And
Videos.
is the number two. YouTube is the number two search engine. And like you said, since Google owns YouTube, when people are searching, if that video pops up, then that's a win for you.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And
Absolutely.
also, I meant to mention that even if you're not on Google, if you have a YouTube video with specific keywords, you can still come up on
Hmm.
page number 1.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is great. Um, so what I'm hearing there, and I love it, is number one, get registered on Google Business. Just go online if you're not there. Search Google Business. They'll explain the steps, and there's a lot of tutorials. We're familiar with it as the process as well, and get registered there. Secondly, look at YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, if you're not using YouTube, definitely get on YouTube. And I want to zone in on that before we move on to some other platforms. Uh, it sounds, and I'm familiar with what Nashika's talking about. She's talking about SEO and keywords and whatnot. So Nashika, you're recommending that folks start creating videos on YouTube. Is there anything more that you can say about the benefits of the way that you've used YouTube um, to showcase your business and get people to feel like they know you and connect with you using YouTube?
Oh my gosh, I can't stress it enough. Um, I know that I have a few of my students, they're like, oh, I'm so scared to be on camera. You don't necessarily have to be on camera. Just do a little mini teaser tutorial on one of your skills.
Mm-hmm.
Have an interview session with one of your clients, as far as them saying a testimonial about how much they love coming to you. So, I mean, there's so many ways, but those are the ways that I've been utilizing YouTube. And I want to tell you that one of my videos, I was looking tore up from the floor up. I was doing I was doing a simple kinky twist tutorial, and I think now it has over 20,000 views.
Mm,
Wow.
And it was just a little teaser video, and I've gotten business from just that one video.
right. That's that's what we're talking about, folks. Like,
Yeah.
and you put in the I guess in the bio section or the text underneath the video. That's a good place to put your website link, your
Hmm.
contact information. a little blurb about what you're doing, and with the right keywords, like Nashika was hinting at earlier, think about what keywords are people typing in Google to find you in your local market, in your town, in your city. They're searching zip codes, they're searching city names, and there's specific terms, and there's ways to find out what those terms are, and make your videos and make sure that those key phrases are in the title of the video and the description of the video. So definitely pay attention to that. A lot of folks, some people get overwhelmed and they think, oh my God, it's so complicated. But just the simple fact of, like Nashika was saying, the quality of that video tore up from the floor up.
Yes.
Probably you didn't go crazy with trying to do this deep science on the keywords to use. You should just use your common sense as a starting place, and make those videos and title them in ways that you think are natural to how people are finding you and the words that they're finding. That's a great start. It's a great start. There's more that you can do there and learn, but it's a great start. Now, I know that you also did do testimonials too, using YouTube, Nashika.
And let me tell you, a lot of people say that is the reason why they chose me out of any other hair braiding provider, or say if I was, getting clients or whatever, they'll say, well, I was going to go to this braiding shop, but I chose you because of those testimonials. You sold me. So get on it, ladies. YouTube.
There's an idea when it comes to sales and marketing that people buy from people. And I think the really beautiful thing about YouTube and videos is that you're not just a website, which is necessary and brilliant, but you're a person. And when your brand can show that, the more it can show that you're a person who is skilled and who's knowledgeable and kind and someone you want to work with and spend time with, then the more likely people are to work with you.
Right.
Of course, the quality of your technique has to be up there, but when people are comparing apples to apples, they want to know who am I going to want to spend the hours sitting in their chair in their salon, who's not going to pull my hair too tight, who seems like they pay attention, and testimonials will tell you if that's true based on other people's experience. So definitely the YouTube.
No, like, and trust are three things that in marketing hold a lot of weight. No, like, and trust. People got to get to know you. They like you, and then get to trust you. And if they get to see your face on one video, two video, three video, and then and they start to they subscribe to your channel. They might not even become a client right away, or they may had a session once, but you need to foster that relationship. And then you have a partnership, a client, a relationship for a long time, and they tell other people. So that's great. There's so much more we can say about YouTube. I mean, it's insane how how powerful that is. But I want to get to Facebook. Because I know that Facebook has been instrumental in your business,
yes,
Shika.
Yes.
And my experience, I was reading some statistics about how many people are on Facebook. I mean, we know Google's the 1,000-pound gorilla or elephant or whatever animal you prefer in the room.
Facebook is right behind them.
Facebook is right behind them. And
I don't even know if behind, because it's just a little different.
It's different. Yeah, it's different. But the amount of people that exist that have Facebook profiles, that spend their time on Facebook.
So over 1 billion active users.
Yeah.
On one day, they just recently they hit the milestone of 1 billion users on one over the course of one 24-hour period, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the secret sauce too is that, number one, your clients, your current clients, your future clients, their mamas, their uncles, their daddies are on Facebook. I'm just saying.
It's true.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
true.
they
It's true.
they're all on Facebook, and not only are they on a Facebook, the way Facebook works is that Facebook has access to all their information, right? And it
Mhm.
allows you as a business owner when you're trying to when you know who you are. Remember we talked about branding. You know
Mhm.
who you are, and you know who your
Target.
audience is. So
Right. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Actually, your target market or target audience, you know, you're able to target them more effectively because Facebook has all that information. So let's say you know, hey, I am the I'm the authority on twists for young girls. That's my brand. That's my whole movement.
Mhm.
Making young girls have pride in themselves, love themselves. That's the next generation. That's your mission in life. All your colors and your business cards and your websites, all that. Now, where are they? Where are they? And chances are, and we're talking about Facebook right now, they're on Facebook. But because you're so clear about your ideal customer avatar, you know how old they are, you know the kinds of words that they're using, you know that
You
information
know what
about
other
them.
pages they're liking, other stylists, YouTubers,
Ah, yeah, you know where they're hanging
Right.
out, the things that they like, the books that they're liking, the musicians that they
Where they
like,
hang out.
the
where they
clothes
hang
that they
out.
like, the stores they shop from. It's all.
And Facebook has all that information, right? Every time we like something, we like a page, a musician, a book, we're telling the world and Facebook who we are and what we're into. So you can find your people all on Facebook, and so there's different ways to do that. There's paid ways and there's free ways, um, and we won't get too much into the paid strategies of Facebook, but just know that if you're really at a point in your business where you want to focus in on your audience, you can spend money to advertise and find those people on Facebook.
Mhm.
Um, but I think I want to focus maybe, and Nashika, you could speak to this on some basic things that one can do just to make sure that they have their bases covered on Facebook. Like, is there anything you want to comment on? Um,
Um, hmm.
ways that you've used Facebook. I mean, I know that you have a business page that has,
Right.
and a lot of your clients are using Facebook that way. So if I guess maybe one thing that you might start off by saying is if you don't have a business page, you probably want to get that going, right?
Definitely. But one thing I like with having a personal Facebook page, you get to develop a relationship with not only your existing clients, but people that may be interested in buying from you in the long run. You know,
Hmm.
they can see, what you do on a regular basis. They can communicate with you.
Hmm.
So not just having the profile is important. So,
Yeah, that it kind of comes back around to know, like, and trust because
mhm.
somebody may not be ready, but all the while they're getting to know you, they're starting to like you, they're starting to trust you, and when they're ready to make a decision, you're front
Yep.
of mind. And then also back to that quote, the statistics that you gave at the beginning, V, um, only 25% go to a stylist on occasion. When they decide they want to go to a stylist again, you need to be the stylist that they go back to if they went to you before. And also that 23% that's struggling, they may be looking around for inspiration and they may have a special event come up and they may be ready to move from the struggling on their own to the occasional and
Yeah.
hopefully become a regular. So I, I just want to zoom out for a really quick second and try to give you a little overview of how we look at this getting clients and filling up your schedule. We're going from people not knowing you at all to you identifying who you are and who you want to attract to you, and then you drawing them a little bit closer and a little bit closer and a little bit closer until they are ready to buy. And so, or until they're ready to sit in your chair and have you style them or whatever. But at first that getting to know you from a distance at the first level might be some social media, it might be word of mouth, whatever. They might have stumbled across your website, bookmarked it, and then when they're ready to take the next level, which we'll get to soon, they might say, I want to hear some more emails from her, I want to subscribe, I want to make sure that I'm hearing all her updates, so that because I'm starting to like her, I want to be getting more information here. And then ultimately that being ready to sign the deal,
Right.
hand over the money and get the hair styled. So it's nowadays people it may feel like a lot, but it's not really. Think about how you buy, how you interact with people online, and just try to reverse that and offer that to your people. Keep reeling them in,
That's right.
Yeah,
and when they're ready, you'll be the one.
yeah, there's so many different ways to look at it. So I'm with you on that, Carney. Like I got to see the big picture. So we talked about reeling them in, right? That's it takes some time. Or I like attraction because like even in
Yeah,
relationships or friendships, we're like not just the first time you meet somebody, you're not ready to be like, oh, this is my best
yeah, I'm
friend.
getting to know you.
Oh no.
Or I want to get married. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
no.
I mean, there's well, that's another conversation.
Yes.
Anyway, but it's a process. It's a process. It's a
Yeah.
process. So,
Hmm.
social media. I like the word after you get to know who you are. That's branding and who your audience is, and become
Mhm.
clear on that. Step two is developing a plan of where are my people, and you can't maybe you don't pick all the social media platforms. There's a lot
Right.
of them, right? There's Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Maybe you find two or three, maybe at the most to start off with, right? Because a lot of them have pros and cons. Maybe
Right.
you're not going to get a lot of clients off of LinkedIn because that might be more of a where people go to get a job or network professionally. But you might say, like Nashika's saying, look at YouTube. That's worked for her business. I could attest to that,
Yes.
and a lot of the clients she works with.
Hmm.
Um, and look at Facebook for sure. So I think in phase two, locate the two or three social media platforms that will allow you to connect with your audience and give them value. Show them that you care. Show them that you know about. I mean, if you guys
Hmm.
follow Nashika's Facebook page or what she's doing, you could tell that she cares and she reads an
I do.
article or a new technique or some tip, and it's not all about her either. She's gonna point you into what other people are doing,
Right.
and stays in touch with her people. So
Hmm.
that's the idea. So there's YouTube, there's Facebook. We got
Google.
Google. You got to register on Google and all of that, and then there's Instagram. That
Instagram.
seems to be very popular for this space. Like we don't, like you said, we're not going to focus on all the social media platforms, but it seems like Instagram is is fast becoming, if not already, a very important tool, especially for people that want to represent something visually. What do you think about that, Nishika?
Oh, repeat that again. I'm sorry. I saw a notification come for me.
Oh no, it's cool. It's cool. No, I was just saying, like, let's just touch on Instagram. It seems like they're a big player for in the natural hair space. A lot of
Oh yes.
anyone that's doing something visually. It seems to be a great way to connect authentically with your audience and find new people. And there's some tactics that we can use to attract people. We could touch
Hmm.
on. But is there
Yes.
anything that you want to touch on briefly about how to use Instagram, how effective it is, things that you've seen? Carlene, I know that we've talked a lot about this.
Okay. You want to
Yeah,
go ahead?
sure. Well, like you said, it's hair and any it's such a visual thing. So, what better platform than one that really centers around visuals? Um, I shouldn't say what better platform, but you get what I'm saying. That
Mhm.
it's a significant platform because people can see styles. Now, the only thing I don't like about um, Instagram in this particular setting is that it's worldwide, it's international. So people may come to you and just get some inspiration, but they may not be ideal clients. But
Mm.
it doesn't mean that it's not worth using, and you might use hashtags that indicate your location, or you may use the location feature to say where the picture is taken and
Yeah.
put your salon, pick your city. or not your salon, wherever you're styling hair. And yeah, I think what's really cool is that you can take those pictures and put them elsewhere. You can take those pictures and put them on Facebook. You can put them on your website.
Mhm.
And it's just because people may not be your immediate clients doesn't mean that there isn't still value in building that your brand. It really will just depend on what your biggest goals are,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
what you're working
Mhm.
toward ultimately. I would
And
also
I,
say don't sleep on Pinterest when it
Oh,
comes
I
to
love
visual.
Pinterest. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
because I know when my sister-in-law is looking for styles for my niece, she's on Pinterest looking at styles for young girls. Like you can't really search on Instagram quite that way because you have to search by hashtags. But when you're
Right.
searching on Pinterest, it's a little bit more natural. And the life cycle of the image, it lasts longer because you're searching through the archives versus Instagram is instant. It's
Mhm.
what's most recent. So definitely. Now, ultimately, and I know we'll transition to this in a minute, but all of that stuff comes down to um, you want to take it to where people can buy, and you want to use like Instagram or Pinterest and all of these to direct to your site where they can actually sign up for a consultation with you and get your number to call you, have all the essential information. So all of this is to bring people to a your home on
your
the
home
internet, which
online.
is your website.
Right.
Right, right, right. So step one, you get to know who you are and who your audience is. That's branding and getting really clear on that. The second thing that we're touching on is how to attract that audience that you've identified to you. There's different ways to do that, Google, Facebook, etc., YouTube. And
Mhm.
then what are you attracting them to? Do you
Mm-hmm.
have you definitely want to have a website. And this is kind of where we're going to spend probably the focus. You definitely want to have a website that
Mhm.
properly represents you, right? And I want to stress properly represents you because this is now, the image that you're putting out to the world. And not every website, I mean, first you got to have a website, but not
A
every
month.
website is created equally, right? You
Mhm.
know, some websites you go to and you're like, oh man, they got too much going on. Like things
I'm
is looking
leaving
like,
next.
I, yeah, I'm like, I got to go.
Yes.
No,
Yep.
it's really like that, right? Like, and,
Yep.
and and then you go to
Mm-hmm.
some sites and it's like clean, and it's only like maybe two or three things that you got to pay attention to. You're like, oh, this, I know
You know
exactly what I'm
exactly where to look.
know exactly where to look and
Right.
what to do. So I like to call that a smart website. Some websites is dumb. I'm not trying to be mean, but
It's true.
and you don't want just a website. I mean, a lot of folks. I mean, there's ways you can, there put. Oh, it looks like we lost Carlene.
Carlene.
Maybe she just got a hiccup with the internet connection. Um,
Okay.
yeah, there's different ways to get a website set up, and there's
Yeah.
free option, there's paid option, but I want to stress being a professional, going pro. I mean, and if you guys are familiar with Nashika, you can see what we've done with our Braid license site. There's a lot of examples out there of hair braiding businesses that they're I like to say they're going pro. They're not just, you can tell when you look at their site that they got their branding together. They know who
Mhm.
they're serving, and there's a quality, there's a professionalism, right?
Yep.
And you can see that represented in the way the website looks. That's
And
one
I'll say
aspect of a smart website. There's more, but go ahead, Carter.
I'll also just say keep in mind because part of what we're talking about here, like you said, going pro and really just elevating your online presence. It's good to braid hair locally. That's cool. But don't limit your aspirations to that. Your online presence, because it's international, could catch the eye of a style guide. You never know who's watching. You never know who's going to tweet it out. You never know who's going to want to connect with you for some type of sponsorship deal, feature you in a magazine. You just never know. You never know what could come out of it. So set your vision high and see what it can become.
Right.
Great point.
Mhm.
Any wisdom brewing over there, Nashika? I see you nodding your head, and you know.
I mean, oh my gosh, I can. Well, you already knew my frustration, Baron, when I
Mm.
tried to do my own website.
Yep.
I was being cheap. I think I paid the young lady maybe this was years ago, maybe like $50.
Hmm.
So that was just money that I could have invested spending, doing it the right way. But what they say, what's the saying? You have to spend money to make money.
Hmm. And you get what you
So
pay for, kind of
you
thing.
get what you pay for. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, this, you know, quite honestly, I'll just be, put it out there. I don't think there's anything wrong if you're at you know, with doing what you did, Shika. You know, that's initiative. Like, I mean, I think what you discovered after trying it that way, I mean, that's the best knowledge that you had was
Mhm.
that kind of do-it-yourself mentality or getting someone to help you.
Mhm.
But what you discovered is that maybe it's a little bit more complicated or complex to do it at a certain standard that you were really looking for, and you
Right.
wanted something effective. Another thing that I will say as a principle of being a small business owner is outsourcing. It's finding like you might be an expert at here, and you want to excel at that, and there's a lot of things associated with running that business that's going to take your time, and you probably have a family and other things going on in your life. So I think the problem with doing it yourself for a lot of folks is that um, they end up spending a lot more time that could be better served elsewhere. And I think going pro for businesses that are on another level is that they have a team. They work with people that specialize in certain areas, and it
Right.
doesn't mean that you have to go broke doing it, but they're professionals out there that know what they're talking about that you can work with. And I think for those watching this, you're seeing a sort of an example of that with Carlene and I working with closely with Nashika in that way. Um, and I think when you find a good someone to connect with in that way that you vibe with, that you respect, it can be powerful. That way you can focus on growing, on doing what you do well, and let them help you with the other stuff, right? And that's just a principle, and that's not just to point fingers at ourselves. It's just a business principle that I think you need to consider is teamwork, is delegating stuff that is not your specialty. Anything you want else, Carney? And I see you looking at me funny. You got something to say over there?
No, I'm not looking at you funny. What you talking about? It's just my face.
All right.
What you trying to say? No. Uh, um, yeah, I think really, I don't know. You kind of covered that.
Yeah, I can keep going. I'm just warming up.
Oh, well, then let me move you forward. No, we were talking
So
about smart websites, and
yeah,
I think we could talk a little bit about what that means and why that's
yes,
important.
yeah,
So, like we said, I look at a website as a tool that can work for you while you are not working, while you're sleeping. Um, Social media can be
automation.
the same way. Um, it's energy you're putting out there. Once you put it out there, it's working for you while you're braiding hair, or sleeping, or eating, or playing with your
Hmm.
family members. The most effective tools are working for you, are amplifying your work. So a smart website, what do you need it to do for it to be working for you? I think more than just like saying where you are located and your phone number, you're going to want that site to offer an opportunity for people to again come a little bit closer, to be even more attracted and come even closer. So starting first of all with branding, because if people are coming for because because hair and style is so visual, your brand, you want it to represent you in that same visual way. Um, but you also want to create an opportunity where people can stay in touch with you more personally. And I think one of the ways that we do this is through getting people to sign up for an email list. Now, you might choose, you could either just ask people to sign up for your email list, or you might convince them by offering them something in return. You might offer them some discount off of their first consultation, or you might offer them some discount for a referral, or think about what it is that might be a good idea to give them in exchange for hopping on your email list, because also you want them to move from being on your email list to being in your chair where you're styling their hair.
And you say that, Carlene. I just spoke to one of my students. She actually wrote her own book. I was actually looking at her website, but she's going to be working with you guys pretty soon. But I told her she needs emails. So one of the ways that she can get emails is maybe create an ebook, maybe 10 ways on how to style your natural hair in exchange for their email address.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Ways to style your natural hair, ways to care for your natural hair. Like you said, if you're specializing in something, this is where knowing your brand really helps. Because if you're the girl who specializes in Senegalese twists, then you can say, like, this is how you care for Senegalese twists, this is the background of them, and this is different ways to style them. I'm already coming to you because you're the expert on Senegalese twists. So sure, yeah. I want to know, even if I don't live near you and I get them done by someone else or I do them myself, then here I have this resource that's valuable to me that makes me want to hear more from you. So
yeah, and that is a critical component, I think, when you're talking about a smart website, is that if it's designed in an intelligent way, it'll be very focused on motivating them to connect. And like Nashika gave a great example of maybe an ebook or something that you know, not something cheap, but something that you know is valuable to the people that you're serving,
right.
and they connect with you. Now, let's say they do come and get a session with you, or you offer them, say, a free or discounted consultation, and they come, they sit down, or maybe they sign up and they come and get some twists done or whatever you're offering. Now that you have their email address and maybe their phone number, right, you can stay in touch with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know? You can stay in touch with them to get them into your chair, and after they've come once or twice, you can stay in touch with them to show them that you still care, right? So let's say they came and got some Senegalese twist.
Yeah.
Man, y'all teaching me some things. I don't know nothing about that. But anyways, maybe you send them a text or email asking after a few weeks or every couple of months with a tip on how they can take care of their hair.
Wow.
Right? Mm-hmm. Or like asking them, I mean, how many hair braiding professionals do you think are really going the extra mile and adding and sending out those tips or checking how's your hair doing? Like, how's it going? You know, it's a relationship. I mean, Nashika, you could probably talk miles around me about this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But where you continue to show, hey, how's it going? Or, hey, I found the same thing you do all day, Nashika, on social media. Here's an article about that you might find valuable, and you mail it out, and you can schedule this, guys. Like, having a smart website means you connect it with an email auto respond, what they call an autoresponder service. It's an email service that allows you to go in there and type these updates and save them and schedule them, and they'll go out automatically to your emails, right? And that's what we mean by a smart site. It connects, and we all are very familiar with that process, but it's very, very, very important. And again, know, like, and trust. What are they going to end up doing when they get that email a few weeks later, like, hey, how you doing? I just want to give you this link. It's some tips on come on, Sheikah, help me out. Well, what are some things, you know what I mean? Just some style ideas, right? Or
how to keep your hair moisturized.
Yeah, what oils to use on your hair.
Right.
What gel doesn't break your hair off, you know.
There's so many,
Right.
so many things. Or just happy birthday. Like you say, you got their birthday
Yes,
information,
I
Yeah.
love
you got
doing
their
that.
number and
Mhm.
their email, and maybe you know their birthday or something like that. Especially in a business that's really personal. I could
Right.
only imagine, like, you may
Yeah,
not
my
have a
hands are in your hair.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
So
you right on here.
yeah, you
Yep.
may not have 1,000 clients that you got that you're like, oh, I can't call all these people. But maybe you could even call every now and like you might have that birth. You might say, hey, I just want to wish you happy birthday. See how you're doing. Like so, the idea is being valuable, caring, and with a smart website, it allows you to do that even if you forget. You know, just as a
Mhm.
standard, everybody gets these updates. Everybody is reminded every few weeks. Oh, you really do care, and then they're reminded, or you might have a special or a discount. There's a
Mhm.
host of things, right?
And you say that, Baron, because one thing with the hair braiding industry, you may do someone's hair, right? But you may not see them, but maybe 3 months from now or maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
So, calling them
You
up,
gotta keep in touch.
yeah. They'll be like, they'll think like, oh, she's checking up on me. Oh, okay. Let me get my hair done again by her, you know?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
my mom's stylist, she'll be like, Hazel, I haven't seen you. Your hair's still on your head? Like I did this thing. Did you remember to put this product in? And she knows each person that comes in, exactly what style, what products works in their hair. She
Mhm.
knows that one person is using this product line, the next person using the next product line, and it's not the same for everyone. She pays attention, and I don't know if she just has it all in her head, but I suspect she takes notes. And it's good business, but it's also real because she
Mhm.
cares about the health of your care, the
Right.
the health of your care, the health of your hair,
Yeah.
and make sure that you are taking care of it.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yes, and make sure that even when you're not with her, you're you're in good hands, and it makes you come back.
Right.
And
It makes you feel special.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's a perfect segue to like this last point that I want to bring up too is when someone feels special, right, and cared for, number one, they may go out and tell somebody just on their own,
They
and
will.
you know,
Right. Mhm.
but it's also an opportunity if you are able to stay in touch with them to even ask them for a referral.
Mm-hmm.
You
Or
know what I
Mhm.
mean?
testimonial.
Or testimonial. Like you can call and
Mhm.
say, "Hey, girl, like, do you know? And I'm doing this. I have this little discount. I got this little special going on, or I'm offering a discount on consultations, or a free get together where I show some tips on how to take care of your natural hair.
Right.
It's free. Do you know anybody? Now that you have that relationship, this word of mouth is the oldest. It's the core of advertising and marketing. When
Mhm.
someone has had a good experience with you, they're gonna go tell people, or they're open to you reminding them and asking them, and you can even
Mm-hmm.
give them a discount for doing it. Like it is, you got a client
Mhm.
that you have a good rapport with. They've come many times. Like, I'm gonna hook you up. If you bring a few people that you know, and I'll give you this deal, right? But
Mm.
because you have a smart website that allows you to stay in touch with people, you can go ahead and ask for the referral. You
Yeah.
can remind them about that and incentivize them to do that with giving them some kind of discount or gift for doing that, right? Um, so I think I think that's a good place to we don't want to do too overwhelm on this whole picture that we're in terms this marketing process that we're talking about. What you have there is kind of it's a great bird's eye view, at least in my opinion. I don't want to brag too much, but where you get a good idea of what you need to focus on and what needs to be done in order to get more clients, right? So
Yeah.
um,
Sorry.
go ahead, Carney. You want
I
to
was
just
just
summarize what we went through or add something else?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. I mean, we talked about a lot of different options that you can take, but at the end of the day, to kind of sum it up, and since I've already summarized it from branding out, I'm going to go in reverse. Your website is really your hub. It's your home on the internet. It's where everything connects to. When you're bringing people closer to you online, the website is really kind of the pinnacle of that. Any email list building, any email connection is going to be connected to your website. Any social media is going to draw people to your website. And your branding, the strongest, most complete version of your brand will be your website, because you can show your Instagram pictures, you can show your portfolio, you can show your location, you can show testimonials. All of those things can be organized in a way that you can't necessarily do on the other social media platforms. So your website is kind of the culmination of all that. Of course, a website that doesn't have anyone visiting it or that isn't very smart is not really worth your time. Well, I shouldn't say it's not worth your time, but it's not going to be as effective as it could be. So all of this is really just talking about how we're going to attract people to your strongly, clearly branded online presence and have that whole thing being about them knowing you and them wanting to work with you. So anything that you do that contributes to that, and the more that you work toward that, then you're making progress. But if I want to kind of sum it up in a few action items, we said sit with your brand mentally a little bit, think about what that looks like for you, experiment. And I'll say this, you'll always have greater clarity. It's the greatest thing where you're like, oh, I just had this epiphany, and then a week later you're like, I had an even clearer epiphany. I thought it was perfectly clear, and it got even clearer. So things can shift, but just take the time to sit with the brand and do a Pinterest board or whatever you need to do with that, journal about it. Get on Google Business, and if you need help with that, you can reach out to us. Make sure that your social media aligns with your brand that you've cleared up. Get a website up and connect it to your Google Business and all your social media. And then the last thing would be, once you have your website, then you're gonna want to make sure that it's working for you while you're doing other work, and that it's connected to your email automated relationship building. And just keep people coming back. Keep them liking you.
Right.
Well, think about what you would want as a client, and do that and go the extra mile.
Yeah.
That's a great overview, Carlene. This might be a good time. We're kind of winding down at this point. I mean, for those that have stood by and really taken this topic seriously, I mean, this is really a good overview of a lot of the components of what successful businesses are doing and paying attention to. Of course, you can go deeper in each section, but definitely a great overview. I don't know if there's any questions that came through. Did anyone get any questions?
I didn't see any questions yet.
We're covering a lot, but if anyone over the next couple minutes wants to drop a question, and we're more than happy to a question that you have for Nishika. She's got a lot of experience in growing a successful client base around here, and she's even got experience in coaching and helping hair braiding professionals succeed in their business and get licensed and whatnot. So any question for her or myself or Carlene, go ahead and drop it in the Facebook comments. But I think we covered a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a lot of questions right now. Yeah, but aside from that, is there any last words of advice that you guys want to, Nishika, maybe specifically you want to say before we close out or answer a question or two?
Let's see. I think the most important thing is the website, because another thing too, a lot of people say the reason why they booked me is because my website was professional. You know, they always said my website, my website, my website.
Okay.
So I highly recommend for any stylist, any braider, if you don't have a website, go ahead and get one now. Not next year, but now.
Well, yeah, that's I'm glad you mentioned that because I we definitely wanted to try to put something together that we think would be beneficial for anyone that needs help in that area. I think we got some people reaching out already
Yeah.
um, for the consulting, to claim your consultation. And of course, you see the link underneath the video there. So yeah, we'll close out now, but I just wanted to really just extend that opportunity to anyone. Of course, you know we're busy with different things in our respective businesses, but for anyone that wants to still claim the ability to reach out to us and talk about what's going on in your business, we're more than happy to have a conversation with you. Just go ahead and click on the claim your consultation link, and we'd be more than happy to spend some time talking to you about your business in the context of what we've shared with you today. And we can help you. It seems like, Carney, you wanted to jump in
Yeah,
and
I
say
don't
something
want
about
to forget. We're offering for people that come through this webinar. We really want to contribute to this community. We're offering a $500 discount on a website,
yeah.
but it's only available to people who claim the consultation and attended the webinar. So, and we can only offer it to the first 3 people that we work with from here because, you know, $500 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's money that you'll be saving. So if you are
Mhm.
interested in, even if you're just curious about a consultation, you want to get a quote, you
Yeah.
want to kind of just chat with us about some ideas that you have, do take advantage of that consultation. And if you attended the webinar, then do let us know because first come, first serve.
Yeah. Thank you for stressing that, Carney. And I
And we're
will.
already having, sorry, we already have some people scheduled, so just reach out and make sure that you get on the schedule before we
Yeah.
fill
Yeah.
up.
You were telling me how many people had already reached out before we even did the.
Yeah, it was like, we
How
didn't even do the
many?
webinar yet. Oh, well, there were two appointments for this morning, and I had to close it off because,
Wow.
and then we have some for tomorrow and a few for Monday as well.
Hmm.
So, yeah, the first ones that decide to take action will be the ones that
Yeah.
get to take advantage of that discount.
And ladies, I want to tell you, don't keep putting it off because that's money that you're losing. I wish I would have found you guys years ago, you know. But I also want to mention that ever since y'all redesigned my website, the opt-in, I've grown my email list.
Yeah, I keep watching the numbers go up. I'm like, yes, it's working.
Yeah, I've grown my email list. People love the website. I'm able to go on my actual phone and look at it as a mobile site because I noticed that a lot of websites, when they're designed, they're not designed for mobile, you know, for mobile phones.
Hmm.
Yep.
So,
That's a big must.
yes,
Yeah.
Everything is mobile.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just an important part there when you're talking about professionalism. Again, like you get what you pay for, and there's some things that you may not know, but a growing percentage of people that are searching online or using websites or looking to use your site are doing it from their phones, right? And
Hmm.
so that's an important point. And I'll just say that we're more than happy to talk to anyone. I mean, it's just no pressure, but we covered a
Yeah.
lot today. And so if you want to just have a conversation about what's unique about your business, how we might be able to, when we say website, get a website, we're talking about not just getting a website, but helping you become clear about who you are and what's unique about you, and your branding and who you're serving, and how your what your strategy is to attract those people.
Yeah.
We like to geek out and get involved in actually making your website get you results. Otherwise, you're not going to tell nobody, or you're not going to refer us. You're not going to be happy. But if you're
And
actually getting results,
yeah, it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your time if the website doesn't work.
Right.
yeah,
So that's something that we really pride ourselves in, is trying to build websites that actually get you the result, help you reach the goals that you're shooting for. So like Veron's saying, is that we spend the time to figure out what you're aiming for and figure out the best way to put it all together, because a website by itself can't work without the strategy to bring it in, without the email marketing to work on your behalf. It all comes together. So if
yeah.
you aren't looking at it together, you're gonna hold yourself back. You're gonna be limiting your potential there. So.
And we have some other goodies. Just reach out to us for those that have signed up for a consultation or are doing so now. When we do talk, we have a couple other things that we're going to let you be aware of. We have a style guide that we're going to offer folks, and I believe we're also working on a group too, Nashika, an exclusive group for hair braiders.
Yes, I actually just created it yesterday. So
Okay. So we'll get you some more information on that, but that's designed. It's gonna be a private group for you all to help each other. And we're moving from the I generation to the we generation,
right.
where
A
there's
rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it's all about helping each other, right? So if we can get together and help build you got a tip, something worked at that, and you're over there, you're up in New York, I'm down in Tennessee, and you're in Florida. We're not like next door neighbors in terms of business.
Right.
Help each other. Even if you are, there's enough. If you believe in abundance, there's enough.
There is enough, especially if you're specializing. Like.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So
There's more than enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was fun. This was fun.
It was.
It was nice talking with y'all, and I'm really looking forward to going even deeper with individuals who are ready to take action. So by now, I imagine that you're all very maybe there's a lot of ideas going on in your head, so I can relate to that. But reach out to us, reach out to Shika, but definitely sign up for a consultation. We're eager to help you, and we look forward to talking with you, going deeper, and helping you grow your business and getting more clients. And actually, most important to me and Carlene and Shika is you making a bigger impact in the world. So natural hair is not to be taken lightly.
Yeah.
You all are ambassadors. You're not just
A braider.
braiding hair. Yeah, you're not just
Mhm.
you're part of a movement that wasn't in existence, that wasn't around maybe 15 years ago. Where people are proud, they're more proud of who they are. Ideals of beauty are shifting. People are like, no, my hair is beautiful. You know what I mean? I'm beautiful, right?
You're seeing the cultural acceptance too shift.
Yeah.
It's not just within our culture. It's extending beyond.
Yeah.
Right.
So that gets me. I mean, I don't know if you could tell, but that, for you, those watching may not know me, but that gets me excited. I know it gets Carly knows. She knows. The Sheikah knows. It gets Sheikah excited. That's why she's in this business. So no, but seriously, take that. We have one life to live, and if you have the opportunity and you're in a country and a place in your life where you're able to do something you're passionate about, that you're skilled at, and that is making the world a better place. Come on now, what's touch your neighbor? Let me stop. How about anyway? That's exciting to me. That's exciting to me. So
yeah,
I want to thank you all for attending and just spending this time with us. And I look forward to speaking to you all in the consultations. And if anybody doesn't have any last words, we can go ahead and end it there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you everyone for attending. Get that website.
All right,
Bye.
folks. Have a good night. Take care. Talk soon.